doing, Antonio, before Spencer goes on?
Hey man, I'm doing good.
The magic man, the one. Oh no, wait. Just wait there. You know, we gotta give you a round of applause before we start this thing. Good to hear from you.
All right, thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And a happy birthday to you. 51 years young today.
Amazing. That deserves another round of applause.
Yeah, man.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Antonio, tell me, because Spencer's calling me the cocoa butter kid, but you must be the double cocoa butter kid to be 51 years old and shine so brightly. Tell me your secret, brother. We need to know, because I need to get 2 barrels of what you're using.
Hey, you know what? It's coming, man. We packaging it up real nice, man. We gonna put it out there so everybody can get this magic secret I got. You know what I mean?
Yes. Go ahead. Anyway, Spencer.
And Antonio, if we just go look at your career has been excellent. You got to remember,
illustrious.
I remember the Ring magazine. Sir. I remember reading the Ring magazine, and at the time, the Ring magazine was stating like you were America's. I don't know what's going on here.
Sorry. This is live radio, so our phones are going.
Was one of America's most decorated amateurs.
Yes.
Right, you had an incredible amateur record. When you were going into the Olympics, the talk was all about you, and at the time, you had a Floyd on the team for the Atlanta, Georgia Olympics in '96. Antonio Vargas was on the team as well.
Fernando Vargas.
Sorry, my apologies. Right, yes. Fernando Vargas was on the team. There were so many names on the team, but you were like the guy that everything was on. I think you was the team captain as well. Everything was like, all the lights were on you, sir. When you didn't come out with that gold medal, did that make you even more hungrier to turn pro and succeed as a professional fighter?
Good question.
I don't think because of it, no. I think, once everything got going, I saw that, my role would be a little different than others. I knew that, I would have to buckle in and, really dig deep because, I just had a different role than the other guys that were, highly touted on that team that stood out on that team. And when you think about everything I had accomplished prior to, the 96 Olympics, and even coming out of that Olympics with a bronze medal, eventually losing to the gold medalist, Vassiliy Jirov. I mean, I don't understand, when I think back, I don't understand how I started my career. And I didn't even have a manager or a promoter that felt that I was worth anything investing in, or getting behind or moving or directing, So I never had that. I never had that cushion. It was all or nothing for me every time I stepped in the ring. So, it wasn't no backup plan. I was all in, That's how I look at it. And I had to do it that way. And I wouldn't expect it any differently, man. I didn't expect for anything to be easy or handed to me.
Yes.
I just knew if I stepped in that ring, they couldn't beat me. I was going to eventually get my day. You know what I mean? I just knew if they couldn't beat me, they couldn't stop me. So I knew my day was coming.
Yes. Having said that, correct me if I'm wrong, you have never been dropped in a ring
or suffered a cut.
I mean, I've been knocked down once, man. I've been knocked down, a legitimate knockdown once.
Okay.
It was against Reggie.
Oh,
it was against Reggie Johnson.
Yes.
He hit me with a little right hook. And I think that right hook dropped a lot of people. It dropped William Guthrie one time. He won the light heavyweight title.
Yes.
IBF light heavyweight title. But I fought Reggie Johnson, I think, my 12th, 13th fight, man. He was a multi-division champion. He was, a solid fighter for Houston, Texas. And, I proved that I belonged in that talk.
Yes. Yes.
I beat a solid guy. Reggie Johnson, I think before I even, took off. So that was for all the regional belts. I won the USBA and the NABF. So that made me number one contender basically across the board. When I beat Reggie Johnson.
Sorry.
Because after the Reggie Johnson fight,
yes,
I remember you had the rematch fight with Eric Harding. the way you beat Eric Harding in the rematch, where you stopped him, you had to know Antonio Tarver was a serious brother.
Yes. And then beating Montel Griffin after that fight.
Yeah.
But the number one question, you know what the number one question is. Montel. And let me tell you something. If people didn't know you before the Montel Griffin fight, they definitely knew you when you fought Roy Jones. Because after the first fight, I ain't even talk about the first fight. The first fight to me is irrelevant. It's what happened in the second fight. You go to the center of the ring and you say to Roy, you got any excuses tonight, Roy? Come on, hold on. I've got to give you a round of applause. Because you see that those words will probably go down in the history of boxing. What made you so confident that you can defeat the mighty Roy Jones?
He was chasing him for years, though.
I want to hear Antonio answer it. Come on.
I gotta be honest, man. I was confident after the first fight. I mean, I think I proved everything that night. Come on, man. I mean, we're talking about boxing. If you're judging that fight on the criteria of boxing, I mean, come on. Some judge had it 117, 111. It's like, that was the first fight was the reason why I was able to knock him out, because I beat him, man. I punched, I hurt him.
You damaged him mentally.
He was lumped up. He was swollen.
Yes.
I beat him. I took the fight out of Roy. The first fight, it was over.
Yes.
You know, it was a new day in boxing, and they just didn't want to crown me. They didn't want to crown me, bro. And I told everyone, even in the '96 Olympics, you can ask my teammates.
Wow.
This was I never knew that, you know, when I got off the couch and I ran 3 miles, when I saw Roy Jones in the '88 Olympics get robbed.
Yes.
Man, you know what? You know where I was at that day?
Come on.
Yeah, Seoul Jung Park.
The book, let me tell you, the greatest story never told is coming.
Come on.
The book is coming because nobody.
Come on.
It's not an athlete.
Hold on, wait.
Let me say this. Hold on. I gotta say this.
Come on, Antonio.
And I want the world to hear me. This not an athlete, bro. This not an athlete.
Yes, sir.
In the world.
In the
world that have come from the pitch that I have, bro.
Listen.
And to stand on the top of that mountain in Las Vegas. The night I knocked Roy Jones out.
Yes.
Bro. If you knew where I came from,
come on.
You'll understand why they call me the Magic Man.
And
you'll understand why they call me the Magic Man.
And this is why I use these 3 words. Dream it, believe it, become it. Dream it, believe it, become it. They don't know about the story of the Magic Man, but you're hearing it today, Spencer.
You're hearing it.
Come on. The greatest story never told, baby. It's hashtag.
Come on.
It's
right.
hashtag.
On the fight is right. And you know what? Listen, man, there's so much we can talk about your illustrious career and you know, listen, we got to touch on a Rocky. We got to touch on Rocky.
Mason the Dixon line.
Mason. Come on, brother.
How did you feel when you got the call up for that fight? How did you feel?
Come on.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, man. Right in '96, after losing the gold medal. After losing the gold medal, I'll say that Sylvester Stallone flew me in to Planet Hollywood. I met his family. We had a red carpet, and that night, Mason the Lion Dixon was born.
Wow!
But I had to catch up because I had to do the work.
Yes.
But I think the vision, because I was a very outspoken person, even as an amateur.
Never. I don't believe that.
I really, when I touch the mic, you feel me? When I touch the mic, people listen.
Yes.
So he saw what it was, and if you look at Mason the Lion Dixon, he really wasn't far fetched from the Magic Man himself. Yes, but at the same time, like I said, the Mason the Lion Dixon was born. I think that night we walked that red carpet.
Yes, sir.
And then once I went on and did my thing as a professional, and the pinnacle of that was definitely the night I knocked out Roy Jones. I mean, I was actually in, and he told me, take care of my business, but, I had to keep that on mute. And you can imagine, you know what I mean? You can imagine it was hard for me, but I had to take care of the business because later on I heard that, he even told Roy Jones he was up for the part. Wow. So I really believe that, if Roy probably would have beat me in that rematch, probably would have got the part.
He would have got the part. But when I
stretched Roy Jones, I think Sly knew that there was only one man that could be Mason Lion Dixon.
Come on. Listen. I mean, listen, you just... Do you... one question I want to ask. Let's go back. I know you just spoke about, people don't really know where you come from and what you've been through. But one question I always like to ask the guests is, what was your motivation to actually become a boxer?
Wow, man. You know what? It was simple, man. It was always just me against the other guy. Just me against him. And that's all it needed to be, bro. It really needed to be nothing else because that's just how I felt about me. And that's it. My name on the line, that's enough. You know what I mean? Because I got to protect everything. And it's, my dreams, my goal, my wants, my desires, and how I saw myself. How I saw myself is something that I never could. The vision that I saw for myself could never change for nobody. And I tell people today, man, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody you can name. Sugar Ray Leonard. It could have been Hagler. It could have been all of them. I was going to approach it the same way, bro.
Come on.
And I was going to approach it the same way. And I don't know how else to see it.
Yes.
For any of those young fighters out there, man, hey, don't read the headline. Don't believe the hype. Don't ever believe the hype.
Yes, sir. Come on, teach on
Don't
this.
Don't ever believe the hype. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I would have ever saw Roy Jones like they saw Roy Jones, I could have never beat him.
That's right.
I could have never defeated the man. Because I didn't see him like that. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we fought at 13 years old.
Yes.
We fought at 13 years old.
Oh,
and don't nobody know how that fight went but me and Roy. Because we was in the ring together.
Yes,
but I bet you one thing, Roy knew that he was in there with somebody different. And he knew that shit all the time. He knew I was coming when nobody else did. He knew I was coming.
Yes, because you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. You know when the man in front of you is gonna give you that work. And
Exactly. So and my thing was respect to Roy, man, because a lot of people don't understand that man inspired me, bro.
Yes.
That man inspired me. It wasn't never no hate. It wasn't never none of that. It wasn't personal. It was just that shit. I had to do what I had to do, and he was just a man in front of me. You know what I mean?
Hold on,
I said,
Antonio, wait. Listen, man. You are inspiring me. You don't understand what's going on. Listen, man.
There have been so many great fights, and you've been involved in so many great fights throughout your career.
Yes.
But I've touched on this. Now you're passing on your knowledge to your son. Now, Junior Tarver, if you ain't seen him, he's a junior middleweight.
Okay.
Junior middleweight, yep.
And what's he now? Is he 8-0? Is he 8-0 now? How many fights? Yeah,
he's 7-0. 7-0.
I always like to count the one ahead, right? So that's how
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and there is a competition now that's going on right now called the Golden Ticket, which is on Sky TV. Which is an MTK Global production.
Golden Contract.
The Golden Contract, yes. Right? The Golden Contract.
Right.
And I'm sure if they do the light middleweight one, I'm going to have to put you in contact with the right people because I see your son fight and he can fight, man.
Yeah, but Antonio, that's quite interesting. What do you think about these competitions that are kind of like, because me personally as a trainer and a manager, I train and manage Anthony Yard and I manage a few other kids. I've never really been a fan of these competitions on one night. Because
it's not a one night competition.
No. But what I'm trying to say is it's a lucky dip. And I've always, I want to hear your opinion on it because I've always felt that that's like another man writing my destiny. And I want to be in control of my destiny and do things my way. And I've always felt that going into competitions like that, it's like a lucky dip.
Nah, this one's
no,
different.
man. Let me hear what Antonio has to say.
It's
no,
different, though.
it's not different because you
course
got.
Well,
come on.
Go on,
Okay.
Antonio.
I mean, I like the format, the competition format that they had, like in the Super Six or whatever.
And this one's
something
similar
like
to
that.
Yes. That's what it is. This is like a Super Six,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you can get the luck of the draw.
That's
You
what
can get the luck of the draw. You get the tough guy first, whatever. But in a tournament style fashion, I just believe the cream always rises to the top.
Simple
You
as
know
that.
what I mean? If you take the politics out of the game, the cream will always rise to the top.
That's a very
You
good
can put these same 6 fighters in a tournament, and you can do a different tournament, different ways. The best fighter going to win. It's you know, on a more consistent basis, the best fighter is going to win.
Yes.
9 times out of 10.
Having said
Just
that,
like in rematches,
yes,
normally the best fighter usually wins.
Okay,
In a rematch.
and you have a very impressive record
in
with
rematches.
rematches.
Yes, sir.
Trust me.
Because
Roy Jones and Eric Harding, they have to call testimony to that.
and Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, and Glenn Johnson.
Let's not forget that.
Glenn Kofi Johnson.
Yeah.
The Claridonian Jamaican man. Yeah. Right, but going back to your son.
Yeah.
Your son.
And there's only one rematch out there that I should have had and I didn't get.
With Bernard
We all know which one that was.
Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, the one I never got, the one I should have got. You know what I mean? The one that should have even been in there, regardless. I don't know how they slipped that one in and slipped that one by me. But again, man, with everything I gave that night,
Yes.
you know, that's just like your boy moving up fighting GGG, your guy from over in the UK.
Yes.
Can you imagine? You know the welterweight I'm talking about. He moved up and fought GGG.
Kelbrook.
Your guy, what's his name?
Kelbrook.
Kell Brook.
Yes.
Can you imagine GGG company, the people, who's ever behind him, fighting that fight with everything he was giving Kell Brook without a rematch clause in the contract? So if you can just wrap your mind around that, then you can understand what happened to me in that situation.
That's a very
I'm not
good point.
saying Bernard Hopkins couldn't beat me. Bernard Hopkins is a great legendary fighter. I'm not saying Bernard Hopkins couldn't beat me. I'm not saying I can't lose to Bernard Hopkins.
Yes.
I'm saying I don't care if it's 100 years. Bernard Hopkins do not dominate, man.
Yes.
You can look at the common opponents that we have. Look at the common opponents. Bernard Hopkins on no damn day dominates. I don't care if I come off the street and they ran not 1 mile and didn't train. He don't fucking dominate. And that's all I'm saying.
Yes,
and I never got a chance to straighten that. I never got a chance to straighten that.
Do you feel there was a few stones left unturned in your career?
Well, that's undoubtedly. You know that, bro. My career is incomplete.
Okay.
Because I never got a chance to go for the big prize in the sky. I never got a chance to cement my legacy. Because I told someone what I was planning on doing, and anything I ever said out my mouth.
Yes.
Anything I ever said out my mouth, I did it. And you can go back and look. I didn't win the gold, but I went to the Olympics, and I sacrificed 4 extra years to do that without a guarantee.
So
the thing about me that set me apart from all the rest of the fighters.
Yes.
I was never willing to take that ultimate risk.
Yes.
You feel me? In the ring at the same time, I'm a risk taker. I will roll the dice. And that's why I know if you put me in the situation, if you put me in the moment, I'm gonna come out victorious.
Covered.
That's what separates me. Put me as big as the moment is. It could be the biggest moment, like winning the heavyweight title.
Yes.
Put me in that moment. I don't give a damn if I'm against Goliath. I'm gonna slay his ass.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to know is, what does the older, the more wiser Antonio Tarver tell the younger one? If you was Antonio Tarver Sr., which you are now, talking to the junior, what would you advise him? What would you tell him to do differently?
Man, you know what? You know, if it's inside, if it's in you, bring it out, bro. If it's in you, bring it out.
I love that.
Unapologetic.
I love that.
Be unapologetic
I love this. Come on, Antonio. You don't got to give a round of applause. This is the real talk on the Fight Is Right. Come on. Give us the buzz.
If it's in you, bring it out, man.
Right.
Hey, man, look, I've had a great career.
Yes.
It's been, I owe everything to boxing, bro. You feel me? I love the sport.
Yes.
I love the game. I love where the game is at today. You know, a lot of hungry young fighters out there. And like I said, I want to put on my business suit now, bro. And I just want to be an example of what these fighters can do and how they can really make an impact on giving back. I think I have something special here in Tampa. I put myself out there. I'm managing and training some of the hottest prospects in the game right now. And if you want someone that really knows the game inside and out, that can guide you and protect you through this game, I mean, I'm your guy. You feel me?
Yes,
and like I said,
sorry, Antonio, I don't even think it's just that. I think it's that you can illustrate it as well.
Yes.
There's loads of people that have it up in their head, but they can't convey it.
Yes.
I think. Well, I've known you a hot minute now, so I think your conveyancing skills are excellent.
Yes.
I think something like that is really good, and also it's like, I don't see as much on the TV doing analytical work now for boxing, because I think like you're one of the best boxing talkers out there. Yeah, he's excellent. You're absolutely excellent. I don't know how comes you're not back on the TV doing your stuff, man.
Well, man, you know, we got Tarver's Tape. You can find me on my social media. We're going to be doing and breaking down all the big fights. Okay. You know, I'm very, very excited about Harrison and Charlo coming up.
That's a
you know,
good
we
fight.
got AJ and Ruiz. I'm going to break down that fight.
Right. How you calling that fight, AJ Ruiz? How you calling it?
You know what? Obviously, I'm going to say this. Obviously, somebody's in AJ camp has been listening. Because the first thing I told him when I saw AJ on that scale in the first fight, he's way too big. And now it seems like they've been listening. They've leaned him out a lot more. And I think that in itself will lend to him in winning this fight. I don't know how this fight is going to take place because, like I said, when I watched that first fight, man, it was obvious that Ruiz got skills. And if Andy Joshua's skill set doesn't improve, I mean, he's going to be in trouble, not in this fight, but even going forward. He got to get his skill set up.
Do you think that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's getting it up now. He's got good guys in his corner now.
Yeah, but that's the point I was going to make. He's enlisted new trainers, but I remember listening to Emmanuel Stewart saying that, you know, when you get a new trainer,
Five fights.
It takes at least 5 fights for the new training to set into the boxer. Do you feel AJ's had enough time to take on what the new information he's learning? The readjustments.
You know what? Now, see what happens. What makes a great trainer and a great coach is that how he communicates with the fighter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the key. How you communicate.
That's exactly
and how
right.
the fighter retains that information.
Yes.
You feel me? Like a lot of people can teach someone, but can show someone something, but can they duplicate? Like, can they do it themselves? See, can you do it? Can you do it yourself?
Wait. And this is why I say trainers have to train. Trainers have to train. How you telling me to do something you can't do? That don't make no sense. It just doesn't make sense. But come on, elaborate more, please, sir.
It makes it easier. It makes it easier when the trainer can actually duplicate or show the fighter what they're trying to convey. Yes. You know, it's just easier. And a lot of times, see, you got to win the fighter's confidence. And that's a big piece of training. You got to win the fighter's confidence. That means when you say something to him, he has to be able to say, that's law.
Yes.
That's law, and believe it. That's what, like Buddy McGirt, for instance, right? I'm just using his name because people know. Like, no matter what we ever did in preparation, I know when the fucking lights hit, between those rounds, I got the best man in that 1 minute. And I don't care what we got to do to make adjustments. He's going to give me the right information. Yes. And I'm going to go out and execute. Now, that's the key. Execution. They don't pay us for knowing what we know. They pay us for executing what we know. You can know everything, but if you can't execute the shit, what good is it?
Brilliant point.
So
Brilliant point.
execution is the key. Confidence. You got to be able to show the fighter one time, and he got to believe. He got to believe it, and that's the connection that trainer fighter has to have.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, even with my own son, we butt heads. It's not getting through. But let somebody else come tell my son the same thing. He fucking eats it up. So I don't know how the component is for trainer boxing. I don't know the secret sauce or the secret ingredients. All I know is that I believe from all of the trainers that I've been fortunate enough to have, I've been able to retain all of their information that they gave me. And now with my experience and my walk, I can now give it back. So that's the key. When you look at great trainers, and I'm not saying, hey, Mayweather, he know a lot of things. Oscar De La Hoya, they know a lot of things. I don't see them in there giving these guys the real secret to their success. The real secret. How you knock this motherfucker. How you win this fight. How do you win this fight?
Why do you think that is, Antonio?
Shit, I don't know. It's work. It's hard work. You know what? I don't know how many people that are that can humble themselves enough.
Oh my goodness!
Humble themselves.
Talk on this thing. Talk.
To humble themselves enough to really, be 100 with someone and give it to them as if you want them to truly win and really be successful.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know, but I train everybody I train like that, like a fucking champion. I'm giving them the same information because I don't know how to do it any other way. I'm giving them, even if I train a 9-year-old fighter, I'm training him the same way I would if I was training somewhere. I'm giving him the same information. It's just from where he's at right now. It don't make sense to give him all the skill sets right now at 9, but it's a gradual step. You got to go through the same ABCD, same way till you get to that platform.
Yes, sir.
So you train them the same way, with the same energy, with the same passion.
Same thing.
Right. And we're gonna wind up now. So I want to know, lastly, what's your call for the Wilder Luis Ortiz rematch? What's your call? Who you got in this fight?
That's gonna be a good fight. I can see both of these fighters winning. I don't like to make predictions, but at the end of the day, I believe Wilder still knocks him out. I believe that. He'll find a way to knock him out. But at the same time, it's going to be some rough patches in this fight. And if Ortiz is in that type of shape, I believe if he gets Wilder hurt again like he had him hurt, I think he'll finish him this time. But I think Wilder win this fight by not getting hit with the big punch.
Wow.
I think his defense is going to be more important in this fight than his offense. And I just believe that because Ortiz seems to be in fantastic shape. Fantastic shape.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. I can say I talked to Mason. A few years back, me and him were just sitting down, breaking down Terence Crawford against Ricky Burns. Literally I was at his house. And years later, both of me and Spencer are talking to the great, the one, the only, Antonio
Magic Man Tarver. Thank you very much for the interview, man. God bless. We'll post this out to you, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you,
Hey, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to be happy until I'm sitting in the studio with you guys in the UK.
It's coming.
Come on, it's coming. Don't worry about it. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming,
All right,
brother. All right. Thank you very much,
I
Antonio.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Y'all have a good day.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Stamina for Soul YouTube channel.